think.
Or you never know.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go in there and spar. I don't think it's gonna be you trying to kill me or I'm trying to kill you. You know, I think it's let's go in here and make this money. You know, it's more of a business tactic than anything.
100%.
And he went from Disney to, you know, getting paid what I told you. World champions that have dedicated their whole life to this sport, they will never get paid. Not even a percentage of what he's making.
Yeah.
Or are you about it because it's promoting the sport of boxing?
Nah, it don't bother me because if I was in that position, I'd be happy. I always look at it like that. Like if I was in that position, I'd be happy making all these millions of dollars. You know, it don't count. It's just for show. I mean, it's a win-win.
Terence Crawford reacted to Gervonta Davis facing Jake Paul by calling it a business move rather than a real fight. He pointed out that the massive weight gap between a 135-pounder and a 200-pounder turns it into more of an exhibition than a true competition. Crawford believes the matchup is mainly for entertainment and money, not boxing credibility. While he acknowledged Jake's size and power and Tank's explosiveness, he made it clear, this fight isn't about proving skill, it's about making business headlines.
I didn't like that one.
Jake too big for Tank, you know? In reality, he's way too big for Tank. Like, Tank is very talented, punch hard, explosive, a whole 9 yards, but...
Yeah, because some people say Jake's fight's rigged. He's, like, suing people now that say they're rigged. You see that? But how could they rig it before? Because, like, what if they just say, oh, we're going to go soft on each other, and then Tank just fucking throws it right at Jake?
Jake can punch with that right hand. Like, I seen him, you know what I mean, up close in person. Like, dude is big. He's not as slow as people think he is, and he can punch. You know, that's why a lot of people know, like, there was times where, you know, him and Tyson, you know, was in the ring, and he could have, like, laid it on Tyson, but he kind of, like, held back.
You could tell.
And that's the same with Tyson. Like, Tyson could have caught Jake with something, and he just, like, you know, so you can see it.
If you had to choose someone to win that fight, who do you think wins?
Honestly, I think Jake by youth.
Really?
Yeah.
Emiliano Vargas spoke candidly about how boxing has evolved in the era of spectacle and how figures like Jake Paul have changed the game. He explained that Jake understood something most traditional boxers didn't. Modern boxing isn't just about skill or legacy anymore. It's about capturing attention. Social media buzz, fan excitement, and entertainment value now determine who gets the biggest paydays. Vargas admitted this shift feels unfair to real champions who dedicated their lives to the craft, yet never made even a fraction of what Jake earns through hype and drama. Still, he acknowledged Jake's genius in recognizing the formula early: create controversy, build anticipation, and control the narrative, and the money will follow. His tone carried both respect and frustration, reflecting how Jake's rise has exposed the uncomfortable truth that boxing is slowly turning from a sport into an entertainment empire.
Right. Explain this to me, not in basketball terms, just such a funny internet comment, but explain this to me like a third grader. What is an exhibition fight?
I don't even know, bro. I'm gonna be real with you. All I know is that Jake is making, I don't, God damn.
But
God,
when they
God,
say
look,
it,
God bless Jake, bro, because this is what he figured out. He figured out this. He figured out boxing is all about attention.
100%.
And he went from Disney to, you know, getting paid what I told you. World champions that have dedicated their whole life to this sport, they will never get paid. Not even a percentage of what he's making.
Yeah.
But because attention brings dollars. It doesn't matter if it's a podcast, if it's a movie premiere, if it's boxing. If there's no attention on it, you're not going to make no money from it.
This is like the WNBA conference. That's why they don't make the money, because they don't have the attention.
No, for sure. I was at the WNBA yesterday, and that shit was lit, bro.
It was lit?
I was chopping it up with Floyd was there.
It was
like,
good?
People, they won by like, I think 1 or 2 points. But I was standing up and I was jumping, you know, it was the finals though.
Yeah.
It's the finals. So, all that aside, I just feel like Gervonta could crack though, bro.
Oh, of course.
Gervonta could crack. I mean,
so this is what I want.
He's sparred light heavyweights and heavyweights before. Like, this ain't nothing new.
Even taller guys.
For sure.
Yeah, so what I really want to ask you in regards to that fight is, like, obviously someone like Gervonta is not in his mind. He's not going to go out there and look stupid, no matter how it goes.
Right? No, he's not.
But that's what when I see it's an
He's not.
exhibition fight, I'm like, what does that mean?
And you can still get knocked out. You know, I feel like that means there's not going to be no winner.
No effect on the record.
Yeah, that's exactly what it means. But you could get knocked out.
So you don't think, because like, you know, the beef now is like, this shit's the WWE. That's what people say about boxing.
I mean,
Showbiz the Adult emphasized that Gervonta Tank Davis isn't taking Jake Paul lightly, not even for a second. Despite the fight being labeled an exhibition, he explained that Tank views it as a global showcase, a chance to remind everyone what separates an elite boxer from an entertainer. If Davis dominates Jake Paul convincingly, his reputation could skyrocket beyond boxing's usual circles and capture worldwide attention. That's why, according to his coach, Tank has been training as if it's a world title fight. Showbiz pointed out that for Davis, this isn't just another payday. It's about pride, credibility, and legacy. The internet never forgets, he said, warning that even one bad showing against a YouTuber could follow Tank forever. Losing isn't an option. Davis wants to make a statement, to show the clear gap between a lifelong professional and a self-made celebrity fighter trying to cross into his world.
You mean to tell me you start hitting Jake with some shit, he ain't gonna fight back? He said, fat. But he had you on a hit list before this fight even happened. So his mental is on you. So you have to take him serious.
What Tank Davis doesn't know he's risking is crazy. I hope he knows now. The fan base doesn't know what Tank's risking. Y'all just seeing it as WWE shit. That Jake Paul is an opportunist, and that Jake Paul is gonna try to knock him out. He's gonna try to knock him out, do this, cross his arms. He's gonna try to do that shit. If he hits Tank and Tank has Bambi legs, that goes viral. Jake Paul gave Tank Bambi legs. He'll get trolled so much, Tank may retire. Tank gotta knock that guy out, and y'all don't realize it. And regardless of the reality of it being an exhibition, that shit, the sight of that is gonna go viral. Tank gonna have to take him seriously and knock his ass out, bro.
Danny Garcia and several top analysts see the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis matchup as pure entertainment, a spectacle dressed up as sport. They admit it's not a fair or competitive fight, but a strategic business play meant to capture attention and cash in on curiosity. Still, they acknowledge that the intrigue is undeniable. Fans can't help but wonder what happens when a smaller, explosive technician like Tank steps in against a much larger, less polished opponent like Jake Paul. That what-if factor, analysts say, is the real hook. Garcia even suggested this could be one of the final major appearances of Tank's career. After years of dominance and highlight reel knockouts, Davis might use this high-profile exhibition as both a global spotlight and a financial send-off, a way to leave the sport on top, richer and more relevant than ever. While it won't define his boxing legacy, it's a smart business move that reinforces one thing. In today's boxing, marketability can matter just as much as mastery.
I think Tank Davis, I have a feeling, bro, Tank Davis is going to retire after this fight. Sometimes when you get a big payday like that against a fight like Jake Paul, like you as a professional boxer, does that shit bother you, or are you about it because it's more the sport of boxing?
No, it don't bother me because if I was in that position, I'd be happy. I always look at it like that. Like if I was in that position, I'd be happy making all these millions of dollars. You know, it don't count. It's just for show. I mean, it's a win-win. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the prize. It's the fight. It's the prize business.
Does Tank Davis get it done with Jake Paul? Jake Paul's a little bit bigger. There's
it's interesting, man. I don't think it's gonna be easy for none of them. I think it's gonna be interesting because Jake is a big dude, and Jake is not a bum. Like Jake knows how to fight a little bit.
Right.
And Tank is a lot smaller. I think it's gonna be entertaining for sure. I'm definitely gonna be tuned in because I just want to see like the outcome, for sure.
Damn, right, you have it, Kamaru. See,
yeah, I've been saying that. I think. See, Danny, you can attest to this. I see when Jake came into the sport of boxing, it's just, of course, we say, oh, it's just a goofy YouTuber or a content creator coming into the actual combat sports, he came in with such hype and so many eyeballs to where at first it didn't look the greatest. But he's really proved it. The more people have doubted him, the more people have hated on him, the more people have said these things about him, the more it's fueled his fire to where he stayed in the gym enough to where you see Jake now running off combinations, and he actually kind of looked like a boxer.
Yeah, he definitely stepped it up. I mean, everybody in the beginning was like, man, I've been doing this my whole life. Like, we can't let somebody come in here and just make all this money. And everyone said that as a boxer. But as he kept, or the fighter, as he kept doing it, like I kind of started to respect it, because I mean, how many people could really like turn one fan base into another? You know what I mean? Like, you could be a YouTuber and then you could try to be like a rapper and your fans don't go with you. Like, his fans really followed him to the boxing world. Like, you gotta respect, he got a loyal fan base, because it's like, if I try to drop a song, nobody gonna listen to it, you know what I mean?
Showbiz the Adult explains that both fighters are stepping into a situation where failure simply isn't an option. For Jake Paul, this fight is the ultimate test of legitimacy. He's built his name by fighting celebrities, ex-athletes, and aging veterans. But Tank Davis is a different story. He's young, active, and at the peak of his career. If Jake underestimates him and gets exposed, his entire boxing credibility could collapse overnight. On the other side, Tank Davis also has everything to lose. Even though it's an exhibition, losing to a YouTuber turned boxer would be a humiliation that could follow him forever. That's why, according to Showbiz, both men are taking this entertainment fight dead seriously. The pressure just cuts in different directions. Jake is fighting for respect, while Tank is fighting to protect boxing's honor. And that shared pressure, Showbiz argues, is what makes this exhibition feel more real and more dangerous than most sanctioned bouts.
Tank Davis is in a situation where there's a good chance he'll have to retire, like he said after this fight. Let me tell you what I mean. With everyone saying that Jake Paul's fights are fake, Jake Paul brand cannot afford this fight to be a play-around fight that goes the distance. It just can't afford it. If it goes the distance and it's tit for tat and everybody it's like a sparring session, Jake Paul's brand is going to take an enormous hit. I don't think Jake Paul's brand can afford it. I think Jake Paul knows that. And he's going to go out there throwing haymakers, trying to knock out Tank. I'm telling y'all, and y'all keep playing around. Y'all keep telling Tank that it's fake. Y'all keep saying, whatever. And what's going to happen is Jake Paul, playing possum, is going to try to knock this guy out and go viral. Bro, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the size. It doesn't matter anything, bro, because it's going to go viral and everybody's going to roast the hell out of Tank. And I'm saying, Tank, you got to take this fight seriously. I don't know what was said to you, but don't listen to your fans. Your fans, the Tanky Wankies, been setting you up to lose forever. Brother, listen to the biz. Don't listen to anyone else. Your only option is to take Jake seriously and knock him out. Brother, that is your only option. Because Jake Paul knows that's his only option. He's just not saying anything.
Leonard Ellerby came forward to defend Gervonta Tank Davis from the wave of criticism that's followed him into this fight. He pointed out that a lot of fans and pundits love to question why Tank hasn't faced names like Shakur Stevenson or Vasyl Lomachenko, but they rarely consider what's happening behind the scenes. According to Ellerby, boxing isn't just about matching two big names. It's about timing, contracts, and business sense. Tank has his own lane, he explained, emphasizing that not every fight the public demands actually makes financial or logistical sense. He argued that Davis has already reached a level of success most fighters can only dream of, both in the ring and commercially. Ellerby said critics are too quick to assume fear or avoidance when it's really about smart career management. Tank isn't dodging challenges, he's protecting his long-term interests, picking fights that align with his goals, safety, and brand. People forget, Ellerby said, Tank built his empire by fighting on his terms. That's why he's still winning, both in the sport and in business.
Davis is 30-0 or whatever his record is. He's undefeated, but he's never fought anybody. He never does anything. He never tried to make a fight with Vasily Lomachenko. He never wanted to fight Shakur Stevenson. He didn't fight Devin Haney. And they go and list a bunch of stuff that he did not do, right? But don't want to look at the facts related to whether or not he could even do the things that they're asking him to do. So Leonard Ellerby used, for example, what was said about Vasily Lomachenko and Gervonta Davis, and Gervonta ducking Vasily Lomachenko when Vasily Lomachenko was at 130 pounds. So there was video that was shared in the stream, the thread of tweets, I think that, or yeah, tweets, I guess that's the right way to say it, in which Bob Arum is on tape saying, what do I look like trying to make big fights for Gervonta Davis? My job is to make fights for my fighters. I have plenty of good fights that I can make for Vasily Lomachenko, for Shakur Stevenson, for Devin Haney, for these people in my promotional company that I can make good fights for. I don't need to go outside and make a fight outside of Top Rank. That is what that's what the president of Top Rank, Bob Arum, said about making a fight with Gervonta Davis and Vasily Lomachenko. Vasily Lomachenko was also on tape the same time saying, why would I fight Gervonta Davis? There's nothing in that for me. And do you know why that was the case? Because Gervonta Davis at the time was not a big name yet. He had not broken out.
Analysts emphasize that for Gervonta Tank Davis, this isn't just another payday. It's about pride, legacy, and proving he's cut from a different cloth. Every time Tank steps into the ring, they say, he knows the world is watching. Every jab, every exchange, every post-fight comment becomes ammunition for praise or criticism. That constant scrutiny forces him to maintain a level of focus and discipline few can match. Tank's built his reputation not on hype, but on domination. Calculated, technical, and ruthless. Analysts note that even though the Jake Paul fight is labeled an exhibition, Tank treats it like a championship defense. For him, there's no such thing as a light fight. Losing to a YouTuber, even in a non-official setting, would be unthinkable. That's why experts say his motivation goes beyond money or headlines. While Paul thrives on spectacle, Tank fights for validation, to remind fans and critics alike that he represents the essence of real boxing. In an era where clout often outweighs craft, Tank wants to show that legacy still matters more than views.
If you're sitting on that toilet and that stool ain't brown or green, if it's red, go to the doctor.
Yeah, for sure,
But again, Tank Davis and Jake Paul, they fight in November. I personally have Tank, you know what I'm saying? I just don't, because Tank is a little different. He ain't like them other niggas who took a fall. Tank ain't finna take no fall, bro.
That's what I think too. I think like, bro got a reputation to maintain. He ain't about to just, you know what I'm saying, sign a deal just for some money.
Just for some bread.
I ain't like, it's about the money though, for sure.
For sure.
But I'm not about to.
But what they get, like 20, he got like 20 million?
But yeah, 20, I ain't gonna lie, Tank probably get 20, 30, 40.
I don't know. Tank need to get more than that because it's bringing Jake Paul more money than, you know what I'm saying?
Anything, but you know, Jake Paul putting up the purse, he putting up everything.
Oh, okay.
He paying for promotions, he paying for everything.
So he getting all whatever he get.
You know what I'm saying? So hey, I can only, I think it's a 60-40 cut or something like that.
I ain't mad at that.
So it's like you getting 40% and you all gotta do is show up and fight.
No, facts.
That's all you gotta do is show up.
Facts.
And then 9 times out of 10, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be what, a draw?
No. Tank gonna knock his, well,
you think so?
Let me not speak too fast, but I know Tank, I pray and I think I know that Tank is gonna beat him up.
Nate Diaz gave his usual blunt, no-nonsense take on the upcoming fight, saying that while Jake Paul might have a chance to win, it ultimately doesn't matter because this isn't a real fight. In Diaz's eyes, it's all just entertainment. Two guys putting on a show to make money and keep fans talking. He refused to make predictions or take sides, insisting that the matchup has nothing to do with the true spirit of combat sports. Diaz has always valued raw, authentic fighting, and to him, this event feels more like a business collaboration than a genuine contest. His comment captures how many real fighters view modern boxing exhibitions, not as battles of skill or heart, but as scripted spectacles driven by hype and financial motives.
I gotta ask you, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Does Davis have a chance?
Gervonta is a great boxer, but he ain't gonna be Jake Paul.
So you got Jake Paul by knockout, or?
No, I don't got anybody, but I don't think
he's just too small.
I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think of the fight?
I don't want to lose to somebody that. There's no point in the fight. It's a great fight, actually. I'm not hating on the fight, but I think my thoughts on it is let's watch and see what happens.
Ryan Garcia said his boxing is turning into WWE.
Yeah,
with that type of matchup. You agree? Last thing, White House card, like he said, you want Conor McGregor?
Yeah, but the whole thing's on WWE, so
right.
It's like, at least that's happening and it's getting something to talk about, something to watch, and I'm looking forward to that fight, actually.
Many fans and commentators couldn't help but laugh at the visual contrast between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis during their press events. Jake towers over Tank, forcing Davis to tilt his head back just to meet his eyes during face-offs. The size gap is so striking that the idea of them sharing the same ring almost feels surreal. People wonder how a fighter as small as Tank can realistically compete with someone so much bigger. To many, it looks less like a fair fight and more like a staged spectacle. The mismatch only fuels the belief that this event is about entertainment, not athletic parity. Still, the press conference scene, with Paul looming and Tank unflinching, perfectly captures the bizarre yet magnetic appeal of this fight. Two worlds colliding purely for attention, money, and curiosity.
You know, when this fight was announced, I thought it was just like, you know, fabricated, just like something to hype stuff up. But after seeing like the weigh-ins, I mean, just look at, he has to bend down to be on. It's absolutely crazy, and I've said this before, this isn't gonna do either fighters any favors, right? Gervonta Davis, he wins, so what? You beat a YouTuber. You lose, you lost to a YouTuber, you know what I mean? They won't even care about the size. Jake Paul wins, he beats some small dude, you know what I mean? Jake Paul loses, well, I don't even know. Like, it's all bad, you know. No one is winning in this fight regardless, and I just think that it's absolutely absurd. But hey, that's what boxing is nowadays. It's more so about the show, right? Instead of actually being competitive at this point. But at the same time, it kind of is competitive because obviously everyone knows that Gervonta Davis has better boxing skills than Jake Paul. We're gonna see if that's going to matter when the guy has 60 pounds on you. So it's definitely something that I'll still watch.
Analysts revealed that the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis exhibition had been in quiet discussion for months, possibly even longer. Behind the scenes, both camps were working strategically to bring it to life, fully aware that the spectacle would grab worldwide attention. While everyone agrees that Jake's size advantage is clear, experts insist that it doesn't automatically mean he'll win. Tank's speed, experience, and technical mastery far exceed Jake's raw physicality. Having faced elite, world-class opponents, Tank understands timing, rhythm, and angles in a way Jake simply can't match. Analysts predict the fight will highlight the contrast between a lifelong professional and a self-taught entertainer. Jake might rely on his reach and size, but Tank's explosiveness and precision could make him look flat-footed. In the end, they expect Davis's superior boxing IQ, timing, and counterpunching to expose the massive gap between real skill and manufactured strength.
Yeah, you're seeing what I'm seeing. Tank Davis versus Jake Paul. I don't buy it for a second, but apparently they were in negotiations to have this fight happen if Tank Davis beats his previous opponent, which obviously ended in a draw. Which means he's obviously going to go and rematch Lamont Roach in his next fight. But come on, Tank Davis versus Jake Paul. Jake Paul is a cruiserweight / heavyweight. Tank Davis is a lightweight. This is Jake Paul's mindset. Okay, I'll fight a legit professional boxer, OAP. I'll fight a legitimate professional boxer who's his age, loses. Okay, I'll fight another professional boxer who's half his weight. Honestly, I don't care how big Jake Paul is, I genuinely do think that Tank Davis would beat Jake Paul. I think Tank Davis would be too fast, too slick, outbox him, move around. He wouldn't knock him out, obviously. I don't think he'd knock him out because of how big Jake Paul is, but he would outbox him 100%. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think about this potential fight. I really hope it does not happen because Jake Paul needs to fight a legitimate pro who isn't a taxi driver, who isn't old, and isn't half his weight.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay sharp, fight fans.